Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.
Fine, folks. This is Wednesday, October the 30th. And it is, of course, Wiley's Wisdom, where Wiley will be with two of our very special guests tonight, which will be Glass Half Full and String Bean, who I call Garlic String Beans, by the way. I think I might be the only one that calls it that. These are two awesome members that have gone through the process of establishing relationships with their wealth managers. Before we jump into that, I got to let you guys know, of course, for those listening to the call, that we have the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room, which is open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Any and all questions related to the Goldilocks articles and the RV, that is the place to come and get your questions answered. We have fun. Wiley also drops consistently a ton of knowledge on wealth management, generational wealth, not only to establish your wealth, but the resources that you can utilize in order to manage and grow it as well. And we're going to go over a lot of that on tonight's call. Then also we have Dee's Room, which is open 7 days a week for articles that's dropped in there. And then also we have Dave Big Rose Dog for all things, everything crypto. And then, of course, the Goldilocks QFS podcast, which is the Goldilocks Global Banking News, every single day. Anastasia and the Higher Learning Call will be back in action with myself on November the 7th, that national holiday. And it's going to be amazing. So for those of you who are listening to this call, you can be the next one to establish a relationship with your wealth manager and actually touch the flesh, be in contact with the person that is going to exchange your currency. You can be in contact with the people that will be responsible for helping you to maintain and grow your wealth, which is what the knowledge that Wiley has been sharing in the room. You can be that next one, or you can just wait until the RV happens, or you can also be some of those who have been listening to people telling them for the last 15, 20 years that they're going to wait for a notification from someone, some mysterious person. And it's been said for the last 15 to 20 years. Here you are in the process of going to have millions of dollars, and you are going to leave all of that in the hands of some mysterious ghost on the internet to send you a notification, and it hasn't even happened in over 20 years. You could be that person, or you can be one of our members who have followed the steps that we have shared with them and literally establish relationships with the actual people who will not only exchange their currency, but help manage it, whether it's from the banks or a private wealth firm. Wiley and myself have been sharing this, and Wiley has been through this in his own personal experience with his own personal. I don't know if he's okay with me saying his wealth, but Wiley participated in the Kuwaiti RV, and he went through a series of building relationships, establishing relationships with wealth managers and the teams. So he has firsthand knowledge and experience, and he's been sharing that wealth of knowledge in the room. Myself, I've done the same thing. Met with my wealth managers and when I was in Texas several years ago, and then also within the last 2 years, already established those relationships as well. And when I was in the international banking world, there were things that I learned about banking and the processes and protocols from within the banking side. So I just was able to share that also with our members to help them as well. Going back to the old room. So we are truly blessed that Wiley has been sharing that information, and we're so excited. We have so many members who have taken advantage. And I shared in the room earlier that the knowledge that Wiley shares for free, people are charging thousands and thousands of dollars for this knowledge and information. Take advantage of it. Don't take it for granted. Get yourself and your family prepared for this generational wealth and begin to establish those relationships. So that being said, folks, when we get to the Q&A, please make sure that your questions are related to the topic tonight for establishing relationships and wealth management. And let's not have any of the, of course, guru foo-foo questions or pontifications, as Wiley would say. We appreciate you. All right. Wiley, are you ready to rock and roll?
Hey, I'm here, Freedom Fighter.
All right. How you doing, my good man?
Hey, doing good. I ain't spoke to you in a while.
No. It's only been about a couple of days.
It's been that long? Oh, that's right. I did touch base with you on this call, didn't I?
Yep.
Oh, man, my day's been together.
Yeah, I know how it is. Sometimes I forget what day it is and what I'm doing, but thank God for Lady E keeping me on track. All right. So we have amazing glass half full and garlic string beans tonight. And folks, they've been in the background, and I love it how we have members just lurking in the backgrounds, taking notes, and then end up applying the information, Wiley, and then come into the room talking about, hey, I established a relationship with the wealth manager. I'm meeting them on Tuesday, or I'm having lunch with my wealth manager on Thursday. I just love it.
I do too. I mean, just if people just want to hide out in the background and go do this for themselves and get there, great. Let's just get there. Have that plan.
Yes. Awesome. All right. So I see glass half full and garlic string bean already, and the floor is yours. Wiley, I'll let you go and do your thing.
Whoever we got queued up, let's go from there. Let's start with glass half full.
Okie dokie. All right, glass half full. You can unmute, and we'll come to you next, String Bean.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
we can.
Okay, cool.
I
am great. How about you?
I'm great.
Good. Wonderful. Good. So, do you want me to just start, or are you going to ask me questions?
Well, let's start out this way.
Okay.
In your own words, can you kind of tell us what prompted you to move forward, and tell us about that experience of you going in and doing this? Kind of give us the kind of overview from it, and then we'll dive into some questions from there.
Okay. I was one of the lurkers. I I like to do my research, and I like to sit back and not and absorb information before I take any action. And I was lurking for quite a while, and I you had posted some questions for if you go into a wealth manager, what questions to ask. So at that point, I started researching who I wanted to contact. And I made a whole list and ABC, and then I did to some private wealth managers as well, and made a list of those and decided who my top four were. And I decided, first of all, to do a test run or a practice round because I did not want to burn any of my top four choices. So I went to my local regional bank that's right here and talked to the wealth manager there, and got the birds out of my stomach. Talked so I could feel comfortable with the questions and trying it out that way. And it went fine. I mean, I don't know why I was nervous, but it was fine. And then in my research, I should mention this, the wealth of information that you give, Wiley, is beyond wonderful. You had and told us about checking broker check. And in my research, I obviously I checked all my top four main banks for the broker check. But on my independent wealth managers, I thought one was going to be really great. And of course, I went to broker check, and they had 6 disputes on them, and they were not nice disputes either. So, doing that little bit of homework will save yourself a lot of grief.
Absolutely, it will. Yeah.
Okay. So then I went to probably my number one choice, one of the big players, and I made a phone call to make an appointment, and I spoke to a junior wealth manager. He was I didn't know this at the time, but afterwards he said he is a wealth manager, but he's a junior. And he answered all the questions wonderfully as far as fiduciary, compensation, and all of that sort of thing. And he referred me to another wealth manager who was actually out of Chicago, and I'm on the West Coast. And I thought that was rather peculiar. Why am I going to a wealth manager in Chicago when I can't physically go in and see them? Anyway, we had a Zoom call.
Now, was this with the same firm?
Same firm.
Okay.
So not only was I screening them, they were screening me, which I was not expecting at all. And we had a Zoom call for about an hour. The junior wealth manager and this new wealth manager were both on it. So it was a 3-way call. And we talked about all sorts of scenarios, what they could do, all the questions that you had on your list, but in depth. And it was really wonderful. I thought, I need someone in my area. And she says, oh, absolutely. I'm going to try and find the best fit for your circumstances. And I have some family things that we discussed at that time that would need to be taken into consideration. And so she referred me to a local wealth manager. And again, we had another Zoom call of the three of us. And I basically interviewed this new wealth manager on how she could help me with my particular situations. And it went very well. And I've decided they're my number two. This big bank is my number two choice. And it's actually kind of funny because about 5 minutes before this call started, she left me a voicemail message. So now they're pursuing me. The next one, I couldn't find a local office to actually walk into. So I filled out their online, I need an advisor type of form. And within 12 hours, I got a call. And it was from a wealth manager himself, not an intermediary. And we talked briefly and set up a time to get together and actually have a actual meeting, which we did very shortly thereafter. And we just hit it off. And he when you have a good rapport with someone and it's happy and it's jovial and it's relaxed and you could tell he knew his stuff. He's been doing it for 23 years.
There's a nice flow of a back and forth, and you're getting your questions answer.
Exactly. So anyway, he will be my number one choice. And then the next one, two of these places I actually already had existing accounts with. The next one, I walked in and I spoke to a private banker, and he was very, very nice and said that he would refer me to this wealth manager that he works closely with. And the wealth manager secretary or junior, whoever, called me to set up a time. And we set up a time for a phone call. And it was supposed to be at 12 o'clock on a certain day. At 12 o'clock, 12:15 call. I call and no one's available. He didn't call me back for 20 minutes. And eventually we did connect and talked, but it was very, very matter of fact. And I personally need ease of access. If I'm going to give somebody a chunk of my money, I want ease of access. And this was immediately a red flag. So he's not on my list. And I think that's all four of them. So
nice. Yeah, if somebody's not giving you the time of day, that's very much of an indication of kind of what that can look forward to. So you can just mark that off and move forward, especially where they didn't call you or say, hey, we're running late. I need to postpone. I need to reschedule. There was just nothing.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah. So, and now you said one was a bank and another one was a big box. Was the big box one, is that your number one you're going to?
I don't know what you mean by big box.
Just a wealth management company, not
they're both big
firms. They're wealth management firms. Okay.
Banks. They're banks. Big banks.
Okay.
You know, if you look online to the most reputable and the highest rated big banks, wealth management companies, that's who they are.
How do you feel now that you've set up that relationship and all of this that you've been through, you've heard, and all the lurking you've done, and I'm sure you've listened to other sites before you made it over here to Freedom's Place. How do you feel with where you're at in your investment at this very time?
I'm ready to rock and roll. I wish it would happen. I've got
that's everybody. Yeah.
No, and the information that you put today, I think my next thing is I'm going to do an LLC. Probably this weekend, I'm going to get my LLC set up. So, I mean, I can't tell you how thankful I am that you're putting all that stuff up there. And I'm printing it all out, putting a little book, and reviewing it and setting up things as I can now. So it's just valuable. I mean, again, I want to thank Goldilocks, you, Freedom, Jester, Lady E. This is just the most remarkable place to get confidence, get information, and wealth.
And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to empower you as the listener to understand where the process is of where you're at in your investment. But on the other side, we want you to be successful and know what you need to do in getting this team set up to be successful and giving you the best start possible. Do you realize that there's people out there that have no clue what they need to do once they have their wealth?
That's kind of scary.
I still see people going out looking at homes. I have people telling me all the time, yeah, me and my wife go out and we look at 800,000 plus homes every weekend. And this is what we do as Dream Build. I says, you've got the wrong plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's okay to have that dream, but let's get our money working before we go spending.
Right. Kind of like the lottery winners that, 5 years down the line, they don't have any money left.
Yeah, very much. And I think I've told the room is I have a banker friend, and he doesn't do it anymore, but at one time he worked for one of the big tier 1 banks, and he run the Rookies to Pro program for the NFL. And he would teach these guys that signed these contracts in the NFL, and he would go out and say, hey, here's how you manage money. This is what we can do for you if you work with our bank, because the NFL has certain bank they work with. And they would show them all this stuff. 90% of them listen to none of it.
That's sad because you hear those stories all the time. And if you just a little preparation would save you, a
Yeah, the
fortune.
league minimum's almost $1 million a year. Do you know what that could do with a wealth manager annually?
Oh, wow.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. You could be making 20, 30 grand a month on that easily.
Oh, so sad. Anyway, that's exactly why I'm so grateful to you and Freedom and everybody else on the team. It's just remarkable. And anybody that's listening out there, please, if you have to lurk like I did for a while, but take notes and learn and listen to all the podcasts and look at all the articles that are posted, because it really, you're going to feel so much better, so more confident, and, not shooting from your hip into a blind room.
Yeah. Did it help you having those questions available so you kind of had something to start with and know how to walk in and know what you wanted to kind of have somebody kind of help you with what you wanted to say?
Absolutely. Otherwise, I would have been stumbling over my words, not knowing what to ask, and probably looking like a complete novice. This way, you kind of go in and people think you know what you're talking about. And
well, not only that, they interviewed you 3 times and they kept moving you up the ladder to kind of interview you a little bit. So you showed that you had done some research.
Right. And now they're pursuing me now. When are we going to get started? When are we going to get started? So, it's nice being on that side of the equation.
Yeah. And that where they're ready to work with you. And now you hold all the keys to the kingdom to say, you work for me, I'll let you know.
Well, my plan is to, depending on the size of whatever comes in, is to divide it between a couple of them. And you guys, the performance will win. So
that's right. Well, let me ask you one key question here, and I want the audience to hear this. Did you bring up currencies, RV, GCR, any of that at any given time in any one of these meetings?
No, just a plain no. No, I and I couldn't say I was getting an inheritance because, and a lot of people can do that, but I am one of those people that when I lie, I feel awful. So I just said I'm coming into some money.
And that's very, very reasonable. And that's very much the truth.
Yeah. So, and that worked out fine for me. I could do it and not feel like I was, telling a story. And, anyway, I think all the information that you give is critical for that confidence and obviously for the roadmap to know where we're going.
I know I give you guys a lot, but this is like almost 20 years of experience for me, and I'm trying to give you all a data dump of just things that you should be cognizant about. I just put them away and hang on to them, because when you start getting to some of these places, bring them up.
I do.
If they're not broaching the subject with you, say it. Say, hey, here's where I want to go. This is what I'm looking at doing, and they're going to know, because they can help you get that lawyer or somebody they know in the community that does trust, that can help you structure how you want to be structured to set up the insurance policies, because it's all about protection, anonymity and protection. That's what you want at the end of this.
Great. Yeah. And I did ask my top 2, do you have people that you work with or reputable that you can refer, attorneys or CPAs or tax attorneys? And both of my top 2 said, yes, they do. And they would give me 3 of 8, if I want a CPA, they'll give me 3 to choose from that they work closely with and would recommend. And I could decide which one.
Building your team already. Look at you. Yep. You're already so far ahead, you don't even know it.
Well,
I mean, you're so far ahead, you really are, because you're ready for stage 2 and you don't even have the funds yet.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's exciting. It's exciting to know that I'm kind of ready to pull the trigger. It really is. It gives you a whole other sense of well-being besides just wondering, what do I do? What do I do?
I'm so happy for you, because as somebody who was teaching this and trying to motivate you guys to take that step to go do this, that's the reward for me. And I know Freedom, step in here a little bit. I know that's a reward for you too. I know you got some questions. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is truly rewarding for sure. No, yeah, I like the fact that, glass half full, you and anyone that does this, you it sounds like you have the sense that you are starting from the front versus starting from the back. Like you're ahead, you're not behind. So when it's time to exchange, you're already ahead of the game.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I definitely feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, once that happens, I'm going to make a couple calls. Hey, we got to get together. We got some planning to do.
Well, let me ask you this. How would you feel standing in a bank today, saying this happened today, and there's 1,000 people that don't come to our call, standing in that bank, screaming at bankers, and you walk in and you see your person? Who do you think you're going to take care of?
True. Yeah, very
They're
true.
They're going to take care of you because you have a pre-established relationship.
Yeah. Sure.
They're like, I can't help this craziness. Let me help glass half full. I know what she needs and I know where she's going. Let me just remove myself from chaos and get down to helping somebody I can truly help. Because that's what's coming, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's how unprepared 90% of this community is.
You know what I see, Wiley? I see glass half full walking in. And then, like you have the analogy, these people that are going to be in there, the bankers are going to be like, let me remove myself from this person asking me about a Q phone and a laptop and let me go roll the red carpet out for glass half full.
Yeah, Wiggly.
Right.
We got to get posters.
I'm serious. They're like, laptop? Q phone? What? Back screens? You want to see my screen?
Yeah. What are you talking about, contract rate? And I'm glad we brought that up because we have a banker, or our own Brunette Grand, who trained on this, who I asked her yesterday in the room succinctly. She says, I trained on this. Neither exist, folks. Right. Neither exist.
And that's literally someone inside working at the bank
who has trained it for this. And who has, just like you, glass half full, she's made that step to go get herself prepared and setting up that relationship so that when this happens, she is ready to roll with her team just like you are.
It's amazing you say that, Wiley, because Brunette Grand was one of the first going to establish relationships with the bank and wealth managers, going back to the old room when we first started training members to do this. She was one of the first ones that jumped down and did it. Brunette Grand, yeah.
I give her and PR a lot of credit because they really got the ball rolling for us to kind of do this call for folks. And I'm so glad that we've done several of these now. And we got people coming forward all the time, willing to share what they've learned, what it was like, and how glass half full said she got the butterflies or the birds out of her stomach. And she was calm, even though she did a trial run. She was successful at it.
Brilliant.
I know we had Trish. She had a little hard start, but she corrected it. And I love that people are going and doing this now, and they're being empowered to take control of their investment, to take control of their future, and go set themselves up for success.
Right. You know what I like that Wiley, that glass half full said, and it's really, really, really phenomenal. Glass half full, you said you have the option to divide your wealth amongst 3 different firms. So basically you're talking about diversifying your wealth amongst 3 different firms. I think that's what I heard you say, correct?
Yeah, that's my plan.
Smart.
Is to not put all my eggs in one basket. I'm going to see, who provides the best service and the, overall, not necessarily only the best return, but the best experience and the best planning and the best future planning, and just the whole package.
I love that you said that. So folks that are listening to this, what she's saying is something that you also can do as well. And it's very smart. You don't have to, wherever you exchange at, whatever bank you exchange at, that does not mean that you have to have all of your money in that bank wherever you exchange at. You are absolutely able to divide it amongst various firms, various banks, whether it's banks or or private wealth management firms, whatever it may be, you have that option. So you can consider that as well. And I'm glad glass half full. That's something that you consider, because that's something that I've myself personally am going to be doing.
Great. Super.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not always about, if we maybe lose a percentage point, we may let that go depending on the service we're getting, because sometimes people make the difference.
Absolutely. I would say that 100% as well.
Yeah, I have one guy I truly love. I stay with him, and he's great at what he does. But I had another guy that was just a little what I call a hot pocket rocket, because he was just all over it. He was very aggressive, and I'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna have to slow down," But it was just too much for me. He was wound too tight for me, but he was great and he was there. But his communication style was just a little too much for me. I'm more of a Western laid back guy, and that may fit for some folks. I know guys that are that high strung and like that, and want to be called, every hour by this guy. It's like, hey, I just found this. I can do this, and they're going 90 miles an hour. I think some people like that, Freedom. I'm sure you ran across them in the banking world.
Oh yeah,
yeah. These guys, and they're not like used car salesmen, but they know what they're talking about, and they're working for these people, because that's what they do. They live this, they breathe it, they enjoy it, and they are on it. I just want somebody a little more laid back at my speed, and you're going to find that.
Right. And that reminds me, Wiley, folks, know that like with glass half full in yourselves, once you start establishing those relationships, there's going to get to a point where they're going to be contacting you because they are aware of what's going to be happening. They're aware of the RV, even if they mention it to you explicitly or not. The fact of the matter is, they know that they have competition. Who's their competition? Well, it could be glass half full's second, third, and fourth choice. These banks, they want to be your only option. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what they want. But it's best for them to know that they're not the only game in town, because that also allows them to want to step their game up and to offer you what's best on the table, because they don't want to lose you as a client to someone else, to their competitors.
And can I jump in on that?
Yes, go ahead.
I also, when I would talk to these people, I would tell them that I'm interviewing other wealth managers to decide who is the best fit for me.
There you go.
And so, yeah.
Smart.
And let me ask you real quick, Freedom, and I know how I would do it. But if the wealth manager you spoke to and they broached the currency topic, hey, are you invested in currencies? How would you answer that?
My response would be possibly yes. What is it that you have to offer regarding currencies?
Exactly. Or something to the nature of, yes, I'm diversified in that, but that's not my real purpose for being here.
Right.
So you kind of let them know I'm into that, but that's not why I'm here today.
Right.
And what that does is that's going to set you up for them to keep you on that notifications of like, I definitely want to be speaking to this person again. I know what's going on. They know what's going on. They're getting their ducks in a row. That's the kind of client I want. And this is, and glass half full, you are the type of client they want. You came in, you had questions, you came prepared. They visited with you 3 different times. They wouldn't have wasted their time if they weren't wanting you as a client.
Right. Well, they just called me again. As I said, that was the one that just called me to follow up. Right.
Exactly. So you are the type of person they want. You're knowledgeable. You've done your homework. You came prepared. You came professional. You asked the right questions. You've done your research prior to going in. All important to know your business, folks. All important to know this stuff.
And one thing about that, Wiley, is so key that you just mentioned about knowing your stuff, is on the inside, folks, these bankers, they have a radar, meaning that whoever comes across their desk, they have a radar up in their head to figure out if you're sharp or if you're not, if you've done your homework or if you didn't, if you're just wasting their time or if you're not. Someone like Glass Half Full, they're like, wow, she's serious. She's not here wasting her time. But if you go in there with the guru fufu type of stuff, and you have guru breath, they immediately put you in a box, in a category of not being serious. They will not take you serious, because the reason being is because they know in order for you to be their client, they have to help you to unlearn a lot of the things that you came in there with. And that is where they were rather a client like Glass Half Full versus whose breath smells like fresh minty versus someone's breath who smells like poo poo guru. I'm serious.
or like, don't be pulling a trigger saying you're under an NDA, right? I know you're under an NDA. No, you're right. I mean, I laugh at her for it because she didn't know. She didn't know. Mm-hmm. She was just unprepared for the conversation, and she thought she was prepared to have the conversation. Mm-hmm. But this is stuff they don't want to broach with the wrong or talk about with the wrong person, because banks have learned a lot through this community.
Oh,
because there are gurus out there who have sicked their audience on the bank.
Literally told them to go and demand your dinar, demand your exchange, demand to see the back screens. What?
They sent them to the White House call center. They sent them to the congressional call centers to say, go demand they do this. Because they had no understanding of what's transpiring globally to build out an entire financial system. They just see greed and want their money, and they won't do it themselves. So they sent their audience to go do it. And it painted the entire dinar community with a very broad brush that we're unsophisticated, we're unsavory, we're unsavvy, and we're uneducated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why we're trying to give you these tools. Remain calm, be knowledgeable, be professional, be kind, and you get all of that back in spades when we walk in that manner.
That's right. And with that, Wiley, gets where our members have gotten from vice presidents like to Lady Unique. Hey, you're on our contact list for exchange. Or to Zach and Amber, hey, the higher ups from our corporate offices told us that yes, the dinar of the RV is happening. It's really going to happen. So once our folks have gone in there with the different approach, professional and prepared, the responses from the banks have been carte blanche, red carpet treatment. Yes, it's happening. They're letting it be known.
Let me share a piece of wisdom with the audience. I'm learning more from you all of what the banker's telling you guys in your meetings than I get from my own. Mm-hmm. Now, my own, we've talked about it. They're well aware, but I'm going a little different route. But I'm structured different than most of you are. But they're aware of it. But he doesn't talk to me like he's talked to a lot of you guys that have gone and done this because you're seeking out to build that relationship. I already had one pre-existing. He already knows what I'm doing, so he's not concerned about me. He's already got my business. But you all are finding out things that I surely didn't know. And I'm telling you, I am surprised at some of these banks that are saying the things
that are talking about it. Yeah.
Because 2-3 years ago, these banks right off the cuff said, we ain't touching it. Mm-hmm. That's changed. That's a new change in the last several months, actually. So I'm learning a lot from you all through these conversations you're all having. And that's enjoyable for me because it's like, here it is, folks. This is real. Bankers and vice presidents are saying these things.
Right.
This ain't Wiley and Freedom Fighter saying it. This ain't Guru saying it. This is a banker.
Yep. And you know what? Why the members, they're the real boots on the ground. They're the boots in the bank.
Yes, you all are. You are the boots in the bank. Absolutely.
And for those listening to this, these are real people. You can come into the room, the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues room. You can ask questions to these members. You can get feedback. You can go to the podcast where our members have recorded their stories, just like this one is being recorded. It's amazing, Wiley, where these our folks are really getting the feedback directly from the banks.
Well, let's just ask glass full, half full here real quick. Are you paid to endorse this? Have we done anything to you to go get you to say this? Is there anybody telling you anything to go get this and come here and tell us in the audience?
No, but was I supposed to ask to be compensated?
Uh-oh.
No.
Not at all. Not at all. No, I'm just a plain old person out here in the wilderness learning this like everybody else.
Absolutely. And aren't you excited for the other side of this, to know that you are coming into wealth? You are prepared as best as possible now. Yeah. And you have some key things in your mind you want to talk about. You have some key ideas that you want to go discuss once you have that conversation and you get this converted and you start down this road. I mean,
absolutely.
How's that feel?
Oh, it's wonderful. As I said, I'm ready to get going. Come on. But again, thank you guys. I can't thank you enough for your time and effort and wisdom and knowledge and the positive vibes every day that we all get.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on and sharing your experience with everybody and the thousands of people that'll listen, because this call will hit 2,000-3,000 people easily in the community, not just our people, but it will go global.
Yeah, certainly. I hope everyone follows the bouncing ball that you guys set out there for us.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're so happy for you, Glassful. So happy for you. I truly am. Couldn't be prouder of you for taking that step. And not just once, twice, 3 times, but multiple avenues.
Right.
Well, again, thank you. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Okay.
It's been my pleasure to help you, and I think Aaron feels the same way.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, beloved. Appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. Hold tight.
Okay.
All right. And next we have I call her Garlic String Bean. Her name is String Bean, but I call her Garlic String Bean. You can unmute, young lady.
Hello, family.
Hey, how you doing? We can hear you.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
And I do pay attention in class. I really do.
Yeah. You're that one student that causes a little chaos and then says,
"Oh, that's not me. That's brunette. You get stuff with brunette and Grand and Zach."
Oh yeah, Tasmanian devil.
No, the room's like the pot, and String Bean's the spoon, and she gets it stirred, and then she sets back.
And watch. Right. Yeah, that's me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Well, we know you went out and you visited with a wealth manager. If you would, please, would you tell us in your own words how that went, what that looked like for you, and what gave you that encouragement to step out of the comfort zone to go initiate and do that?
Can I first talk about how I did it the wrong way?
The floor is yours. You discuss how you want to discuss it.
Back in April, I was one of the guru people. And I was one of those that went in and talked about the currency. And when I started following Freedom Fighter on SOS, I realized I should not have done that. And I'm already in a credit union and also in the bank, but I didn't want to go and join another bank. So what I decided to do was to go to a different location. And so this is how I stepped out. And I had to realize no one is going to do it for me. You guys have given us so much information. And I had to take that step myself in order to do it. I had to get self out of the way and say, you know what? Even if you make a mistake, keep moving, because you're going to find the place that you need to be at.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
so I did that. I had to go and do a deposit at a bank. So I asked if I could talk to a wealth manager. They told me that the wealth manager was in a meeting and it probably would be a couple of hours. So I asked for a card. And so I ended up getting a card. And on the card, it had wealth manager, the person's name, wealth manager, and also they're the vice president of investments. So I thought, okay, good information. I went home. I looked them up on, I think it's called FINRA,
Yes.
and they have like 15 years of experience, like as far as them doing what they're doing. 24 state licenses, zero disclosures. And also, when I ended up meeting with him, he told me that he used to have his own firm that he, as far as, I guess, doing brokerage.
Yes.
And so that was interesting to find out. And he decided that he did that, I think he said 3 years. And he decided to, instead of having to fight for the business there, he decided to go ahead and join with one of the larger banks. And so this is what he's been doing for the last 7 years. But how I ended up contacting him, I decided not to wait since it was going to be a couple of hours. And I got the email, his name, and I ended up sending an email and asking the questions that Wiley had given us. If he could take the time to answer those questions for me. The next day, I get a call and he asked if I could come in to meet with him, that he would love to answer my questions, but if I could come in to see him, he would do it that way and I can come in. So I made an appointment for I think it was the following week. And this has been about 3 weeks ago. And I have to admit, I was nervous, but I also had to remind myself that I have something in my hands, because what I had said to him was that was coming into an inheritance and that I wanted to see what they had to offer since I'm already at this bank. And I wanted to start with them first, and that I was going to also be looking at other places. But since I'm already with them, I wanted to be able to see what they have to offer. And so that's how that started. And so when I went in, he pulled up my questions on his email, because that's how I sent it originally. And he spent over an hour talking with me. And he took the time with me so that I could write it down, what his answers were. So I went in there prepared with pen and paper, thanks to being in class.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And honestly, because he was so welcoming and he has this calmness about him. He had a calmness about him that I was able to relax.
Yes.
And realize that he really does want to help. I mean, he took me at my word that I have an inheritance coming. And yet he spent over an hour talking with me and answering all of those questions, even the extra questions that you had on there about what is your favorite book, those type of things. And he just went through all of that. And so it was exciting to be able to do that. I felt like a weight lifting off from me.
Yes.
Because when you've gone down the other road and you've been on this roller coaster, and each week you're trying to pick yourself back up when you get the disappointment because it didn't happen that weekend. But being here and being a part of this group, you can't even put a price on it.
And now you're just raring to go, like half glass full, aren't you? You're just ready to run.
You can't put a price on it. And I left out of there feeling so confident that I was at the right place and that I have the right person. Some of the things with his questions, I asked him about spending, as far as how much contact does he have with his people. And he says that you have every last one of his numbers, from his personal number, the office number, his email, and that he takes his laptop on vacation with him. that if you need to get a hold of him while he's on vacation, he's there. He said, now if I'm on the beach and I need to get back to get my laptop, he said, then give me maybe 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what we're doing on vacation. He said, but I'm here for you guys. He said, so it's not, you will not be bothering me.
See, and I like this guy already, String Bean, because you've said two things, and I don't mean to interrupt you. I want you to continue.
No, go ahead.
But you sent the questions to him, and he got back to you
the next day.
Yes. So he saw that the questions were very based on what you needed to know. And I didn't just come up with those on a whim. I sat and thought about each one of those for you all and what you needed to ask going in, not knowing what it is they do. Because I've sat across from them. I've done the risk surveys and risk reward stuff with them because that's common. They're going to get into that with you, your risk aversion thresholds and stuff. So each one of them was well thought out. So when I gave those to you, they know you've done some homework because of those questions. But also, this is the kind of guy. Yeah, this is the kind of guy that you want to remember, and you're going to want to send him a gift at Thanksgiving and stuff because he sounds like the kind of guy that's going to be there for you. This is the kind of guy I remember. Yeah. So, but anyways, go ahead, String. I didn't mean to.
Oh no, I appreciate your input. You know, I was one of the questions on that list. What do you think the attributes of a great private wealth manager are? And he immediately said, no ego.
Oh,
he said,
really?
No ego.
Wow.
He said,
never had that answered that way.
Can I get the name of this guy? DM?
I'll DM it to you.
Lord.
But he said no ego. He said that you have to be, he's learned that you have to be calm in the face of a storm.
Yes.
You have to be patient, and you have to be relatable to people to be able to explain things. And that, I realized when he said that, that's why I was able to calm down. Because he made it so easy for me. You know, you're sitting there and you're trying to write, and at the same time you're thinking, oh gosh, I don't want to take up all of his time. And yet he wasn't rushing me. He wanted to answer my questions, and I appreciated the fact that was the first thing he said. No ego. You cannot have an ego. He said he's learned to listen to the people that he served. He said, because if I'm not making money for you, he's not
making money.
Yep. That's right.
And he said he's learned that, and he tries to look at each person and their personality and work with them based on their personality. He talked about how you may have, he said, I may have a client, for example, that they're checking the stocks, they're checking it every hour on the hour. And they're happy when it's doing good, but when it's not doing good, they're low. So they're up and down, and he hears about it. He said that he has to learn how to work with all people. And that's part of his job, to learn to work with all people and take in that personality of that person. He said, now, when you come in and a person comes in and they're saying they want to do X, Y, and Z, he used the example of, I guess there was a young couple who was killed, I believe it was in Haiti, a mission couple in their 20s.
Okay. Yeah, they were missionaries.
They were missionaries. And he said that there was a lady that came into the bank, has money, and he handles her accounts. She wanted to give a large amount to this. And he said, it's her money. She can do what she wants to, if that's something she wants to do. He said, however, I would not have done my job if I didn't tell her, okay, if you're taking it out of this pot of money, this is how this will affect X, Y, and Z.
I love that.
And he made sure that he explained that so that she understood this will change the dynamics of this account. And then he let her make that decision. And she chose to still give the money
Mm-hmm.
because she was very passionate for doing that and wanted to give to whatever fund they were doing for the I don't know if they were going to build something in their name, but he also told her this is how this will be affected. He said, because bottom line, it is your money, but my job again is to make you money. Because he asked me when I was there and I was talking about inheritance. Now, I think you had just asked Glass Half Full about what was the question? Oh gosh, it just slipped my mind. It'll come back.
That's okay. Go ahead.
And some of the other things he talked about. He talked about how often he meets. He sends birthday cards. He sends Christmas cards, but his door is always open. Again, you have his personal phone number. So he will always be available to talk with you. He went over his credentials again. I asked them if they manage all of your money, or how does that process work. And they have their teams of people, but he oversees and he's available, and that I can personally have him to do my money if that's how I choose to do it. Although he has the teams, because of him being the vice president over investors, he has people under him. I think they're like the private client advisors.
Yeah.
And so he has a lot of them. I asked about financial planning, estate planning, and he does all of that. I also asked about CPA, tax people, and he says they do not personally do that, but he has list of contacts of people that he personally will rep for, that they're good, and that if I need that information, he will make that available to me.
That's valuable right there in itself. He's willing to vouch for them. And not only that is I don't know if people remember, but I told you all on, I think, a few calls back, know your worth. And if you're not being served, walk away. This man is serving you and you're not even a client yet. I love this guy. I really do, because his first thing was like, remove the ego.
Remove your ego, yep.
Yes, and very, very just a calming person. And yet I didn't understand every terminology that he had, but he took the time when I had a question like, what does that mean, to explain it to me.
Yes.
And it was at that point also that I was able to start to relax, because I realized he really wants to answer my questions. He's not just doing this so he can hurry me out the door. He really wanted to help me.
What did he say to the personal questions? And I find that funny, as I just threw some examples out there for you all to make it your own, so you can be personable. But it's so funny that you won't use mine. I wanted you to have a comfort level that you would be like, whatever, I was off the top of your head when you're in the meeting. But anyways, I want to know, because I personally want to know.
Okay.
The guy just seems calm and cool and collected. I mean, is he an ex-veteran? Because I only see veterans that are that calm and cool under a lot of stress and pressure when somebody's calling you, hey, my investments ain't doing this well and I'm freaking out.
Well, I'm not sure if he's an ex-veteran, but
okay.
I asked him the question, what are some of your favorite books? Because he had the email pulled up that I had sent, and I had a copy with me. So he looked at that and he kind of chuckled. He said, okay, what are some of my favorite books? He leaned back and he just kind of chuckled. And he said, do you really want to know? I said, yes, I would like to know. So the one book that he told me, the Little Book of Behavior Investing, How Not to Be Your Own Worst Enemy. And that's by James Montier.
Yeah.
And it has to do, the Guide to Overcoming the Most Frequently Encountered Psychological Pitfalls of Investing. So that was one. And then one of the other books that he said he's currently reading is called Misbehaving, The Making of Behavioral Economics by Richard Thaler, Thaler. And that's changing the way we think about economics, ourselves, and our world.
And you know what those tell me about those two books? And the one I know, the other one I didn't know. But you know what that tells me about this gentleman? He's trying to get in touch and understand his clients better at a behavioral level, on a psychological level, because he's like he told you, he wants to be able to help. And I want you all to listen to this call, and everybody that'll listen to this call downstream. When you get into investing and you've committed, stay committed and don't second guess what you've done.
That's right.
Don't be running back to him saying, oh my God, the market's terrible and I'm freaking out. Don't be that person. You have to ride the highs with the lows. I had a billionaire show me one time on a sheet of paper, and he drew just a simple little graph. And he wrote 5 years and he put 20 years. And he showed the 5 years, he just showed just scratch marks up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. He goes, that's the market in 5 years. And then he went over to the second bracket. He just drew a line, a slow line from the corner of that graph all the way out to the high end of the graph. He goes, that's the market over a 20-year period. You want to be the 20-year investor.
It's interesting
you want to be the guy that is steady and is for the long course and won't freak out over the bottoms, and you'll ride the highs.
It's interesting that you say that, because this is what he said to me. I can't remember the conversation. Let me see if I can remember the conversation before that. I was asking him the question about what's my investment approach. And he was talking about how he wants to be as productive as possible, whatever assets that I may have. But he said this, he said, he set expectations up front. He almost tries to scare you out of it, because that's what he said. Yes, because it's going to be volatile, and this is something you can expect, and that it's going to go more up than down, because the day, the month to month may be all over the place. But he says that to people to gauge their reaction, because some people are so nervous about everything, and that's when he was talking about how they watch it on their phones minute by minute, and they're calling him. They're either high or they're low. And so he does that so that they will know it will all come out in the wash. He doesn't want you to get into that panic and just wear yourself out.
Well, it's also a way that they can kind of screen who they want to bring in. I mean, you can't handle 100 clients. You can't handle 10 clients that are that way. You kind of want a little bit of all of it. You want kind of you're going to have moderate investors, high risk investors, medium yield investors, low risk investors, right? But if you got that guy that's a panic, or that person that's up, down with the market, you can't handle that every day. No one could, realistically, without just one day just blowing a gasket and saying, listen, dude, you need to find a new wealth manager.
And that's what he was talking about. He said he starts off with his fundamental belief, and he tries to marry that to the person's personality.
Yeah.
I love this guy.
And do it from there and try to match it to that person to the best of his ability. And one of the other questions that you had asked on there was about, tell me something about yourself that's not on your resume.
What did he say?
And he was sitting there, he was thinking, he said, well, I used to be an avid runner. He said, I love to run. I've run marathons, and it's just something that I do. It would give me the time to get out there and think. He said, I don't run them like I used to, because I'm getting older. He said, but I used to love to run marathons. And he said, I actually met my wife in a running group. And he said, so that was a good thing for me.
Now, see, it's little conversations like that.
For him, because he met his wife.
Right. But when you remember that stuff, write that down, so that when you decide to give this guy a little bonus or a little, hey, thanks for all the work you do for me at the end of the year, I appreciate it, cater it to that.
Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yep. Buy a couple tickets to a local event or something, and give him and his wife a night out that are all encompassed around maybe a marathon that's in town, a dinner. Just plan it all out for him, and just say, hey, this little something, you told me about this. What's going to shock him is that you remembered it from the very first conversation. That's why we write these little nuanced things down, because this guy's your team. He's
Yes.
team string bean, right? And all his people are team string bean now because he said, hey, I don't, but I've got a list of people I will vouch for. And what I love about this guy, he used to do it on his own. So you know he has deep connections if he's willing to vouch for CPAs and others.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So that was much appreciated. I asked him what makes our client experiences unique. And he said the convenience and how they're like a one-stop shop, what they offer locally. He likes that. That's something that you can pull up and make your appointment, and you can meet with him. That they're like, what did he tell me? They're number 3 as far as the World Bank in the as far as the banks in the world. They're number 3 if you take the other countries out, that they're number 3, otherwise number 1.
Okay.
This was exactly who they
are.
This was a big box bank?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
This was a big bank, tier 1?
Yes. And he said that they're the largest bank as far as in the United States, but when it comes to other countries, if you take out the other countries, then they're number 3.
I was going to get with PR's guy. I think I want String Bean's guy now.
Got some competition going on here.
Yeah. Well, String Beans, he did great.
She did. Wow.
Can't be. I can't be. And see what I mean? Everybody, listen to this. These stories are so different because each one of these people are different, and they bring their own approaches to this stuff. That just listen to Half Glass Full to String Bean. Same experience, but 2 different whole stories and approaches. Nothing wrong with either one.
Right.
Both great. But this is what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody that meshes or generates with us or excites us, that makes us want to have that conversation, or you just see him. It's like, hey, don't need anything. Just wanted to say hello, drop a couple ball game tickets off. If you can't use them, pass them on to somebody that can. Appreciate you.
Right.
It was just for a relief for me. When I went back to my car and I sat in my car, I had tears in my eyes because it's like I'm finally getting some truth, and it's because of you guys. I so appreciate you, Wiley, Freedom Fighter, Burnett, Zach. You guys, all of you guys, just answer our questions, and even when you ride us, Freedom. Even when you ride us,
that tough love,
even when we get out of line and being bad, like Zach, because I don't do that. I'm good. But you guys just, even in the fun, we learn. And so I so appreciate you guys. It's worth it because I've been on the other train for 4 years, and the peace that I have now, knowing what I'm going to do, and not only that, it changes your mindset. What you think you wanted to do with your money before, the questions that you put in the room, in the chat, Wiley, it makes you think. And you realize, no, I don't want to do it this way. I like this idea, because some of us would end up with no money if we would do it our way.
And that is so great for us to hear. I know there's people that don't need the help I'm providing or Freedom's providing because they already know a lot of this stuff. But we know that the base level, let's say 60%, 70% don't know any of this because they've never been experienced in any of this. And I would venture to say probably 80% have never talked to a wealth manager in their life.
No. And the thought of even talking to them makes you nervous because, you see them way up here, but you realize they're human just like you.
Just like
they just have the knowledge that we need.
It's funny you say that because I have friends that are like, oh my God, I hate going to my bank because all it is I just I owe. I said, well, if you feel that way, you're looking at it all wrong. Debt can be your friend as long as you do it properly. I'm willing to help, and I want to help this guy out. And I said, if you feel that way at your bank, my God, that must be miserable. You know, he goes, oh, my bank calls me, or if I got to go there, it's just gut wrenching. And I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that experience, and I felt so bad for him that I could relay that to so many people in here that need that help or need that tutelage or need that guidance or that buildup to say, you can do this. Your bank is not there to beat you down. It's just you've never been trained, and it's not your parents' fault, and it's not their parents' fault. It's just the way our society is, and we don't teach economics in schools or colleges anymore, and that's by design because we're a debtor nation. We're flipping the script on that, and that's why it's so important to me and Freedom to give you all this information so that you are prepared for a new financial system, a new opportunity in your life, and a very new beginning to where you start off with a clean slate with nothing but success ahead of you all.
But he asked me a question.
Go ahead.
He said, he asked his clients this, and he said he was asking me. He always asks the question, how do you want your story to end? And for me, I told him, I said, it's about legacy, because I didn't grow up in money. And I made many mistakes when it's come to money. And I want to have something left for my family. And and that's when he was talking to me about, what do you want to live off of a year? And even broke down an example of how to make that happen.
Yes.
So that you can he said he calls it your safe money.
Right.
And then you take the rest of that and invest. And he said nothing is set in stone. It's how we start and how we finish. They're two different things.
That is so true.
And so just the fact that he wanted to see where my head was at. So by the time I was walking out the door, it was like, I was so glad that I did it, because I kept talking myself out of it, especially after I gone down the guru road at the bank with the currency and all of that. But I'm so glad. I'm like, you're sitting here on this chat and you're getting a wealth of information. What are you going to do with it?
Beautiful.
What are you going to do with it? And I didn't want to be one, when this happens, that I go into panic mode trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And so I am eternally grateful to you guys. I so appreciate everything and everyone. I try to get on every day between school and just life. But if I don't get on live, I try to go back and make sure that I go through. And I started my Me, Myself, and I group. And I transfer things there. So I'm so appreciative that now we have Wiley's Wisdom Group, so that we can go there and get it, because I'm writing down things, because I want to make sure that I leave a legacy in earth.
That's what that's what it's all about. And Wiley mentioned something about what you shared, and also what Glass Half Full shared. Two very similar experiences, similar stories. I want to ask you this, and I'm gonna ask you both, you and Glass Half Full, if you can unmute, I'm gonna ask you the same question, or you can raise your hand. I'm gonna ask you this question just so that everyone listening to this, can you unmute, Glass Half Full?
Can you hear me?
Yes. What state are you located in String Bean? Which state are you located? I know Glass Half Full, you're in the West Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm in Washington.
Washington, that's right. And String Bean, what state?
I'm in Oklahoma.
So here we have Wiley. You mentioned a few minutes ago that we had both these two young ladies with two very similar stories. Probably the same big bank, but probably not. But in two different locations. And folks, if you understand, you have someone from the state of Washington, someone from and then that's West Coast, someone from Oklahoma, South. These are two, and we have other members as well on this call that are in all different states around the country, different walks of life, age groups, backgrounds, experiences, but they all have similar results in establishing relationships at the banks based on what Wiley and myself and what we're teaching folks to do. And I want to commend both of you tremendously, Glass Half Full and String Being, for taking the initiative. And String Being, I like something that you said and you did that other members have done is, going in that first with the guru breath, screwing it up. But then coming back and saying, okay, that didn't work. It's that I shouldn't have done it this way. Let me go back to the room, get some tough love, and get some act right in me, and go back and get it right.
Yeah, we have to take them out back to the dumpster at the Piggly Wiggly, have a conversation, and then bring them back to the room.
That one day you guys rode me. I'm telling you, I was like, okay, learn from it, and you're going to go out and do what you need to do.
Right. Your whole conversation and your whole approach, though, when you got it right, was absolutely on the mark, 100% what you should have done. You went back in, you already had an establishment with the bank, and you said, hey, I already work with you guys. Let me see what you can do for me. That's where most people should start. It may not be, and I love this, I'm going to steal this from you. It doesn't matter where you start. It's where you end up.
That's right. Yes. That's right. That's awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's amazing because it's amazing. Both of you guys, Glass Half Full and String Being, you guys. I have to admit I was shocked when you guys shared in the room that you went and established these relationships at the bank, because everyone else have been doing it. A lot of the other members have been doing it. You guys, of course, you're active in the room, but then all of a sudden you're like, you establish this relationship. I'm like, what? Let's go.
I couldn't let you guys leave me behind. Zach on here. Couldn't let y'all leave me behind.
You know Zach's on here. Where is he? Zach's here. Zach. He's Zach and Brunette Grand. Brunette Grand, if you can unmute, because Wiley mentioned something earlier, Brunette Grand, and I think you came on kind of late. Can you unmute, Brunette Grand? Just got off work. Because Wiley mentioned earlier, and Wiley, correct me if I'm wrong, about the communications on training in the banks. You had mentioned that Brunette Grand, because she works in the banks. And what was the question or the comment you made earlier, Wiley?
I think I asked her in the room if she could just expound for folks in the room, because I know we get a lot of people that just come read and they don't ever engage in the room, and that's fine. But I asked, how much guru breath is it that there's back screens and contract rates?
Yeah, that's anytime that now I work in the part, but if there's any changes whatsoever, we go through and have a meeting on updates. There's a meeting on anything like that, and there is false information. All of that information.
Right.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, and I thank you for answering that in the room, so it was there and people could always go back to see it. That this is the kind of stuff that's going to get you in trouble when you go sit before one of these big box banks and you start demanding this stuff. I guarantee you, because they have a lot of people to talk to, they're going to close your file, they're going to close your folder, and just have you escorted to the door, because they got other people that are more serious and more professional that they'd much rather deal with.
You're going to hear one word: next.
Yes. Don't act the fool. I mean, Brunette Grand, I know you work in that. You appreciate when people come to you with kindness and nice and treat you like a human being, and you'll reciprocate and give the same reciprocity. But when people approach us and there's negativity and there's all that, it makes for a strained relationship. Let's not start out on that foot or that note. That's not the note we want as we're starting out in this stuff. It's the rate's the rate. There's no changing that. It is what it is.
And it's like, when we heard that, their tax rate to get the same different with each one. This rate, everybody gets this out. There's no contact rate, no special people. It's going to be it doesn't matter far.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. See, and also it's true, Wiley, what you mentioned about the approach and the mindset. It's like with Glass Half Full, String Bean, or Brunette Grand, with their professional approach, and also going in there not having the anxiety and nervousness that a lot of people who are misinformed go in there with. That's why when people go in there and dealing with these professionals, and you're uptight, you're upset because you were told it was going to happen this weekend and it didn't, and someone said that the U.S. is holding it up, or because the contact didn't get back to them in time, and then it was held up and delayed, all that crap, and you go and you want to deal with these people, and you go in with that anxiety, they pick it up right away, and they know that you are not ready for this opportunity. So I'm so glad, that and String Bean, Glass Half Full, just you didn't have the anxiety, you didn't have the confusion and the nervousness. You probably had some nervousness, but you went in with the right mindset, the right information, and walked out on cloud nine. Beautiful.
If anything, I think we like to say we uncloud that confusion, and we give you fact, and we give you real material to go approach these people with, that you're starting on an even playing field with these folks. And these questions start you at the base level, so they kind of understand, I'm new at this, but I do know what I'm asking, and I do know what I need to ask. And that's how I catered that for you all. But what I truly want to thank everybody here and everybody that has done this is the way you have gone in and you've acted and you were with these people. That reflects greatly upon us and the Goldilocks QFS folks. And I can't say thank you enough for being professional when you go do this with us folks, so you don't paint us with a bad brush. Because I know several bankers that listen to this stuff. And they appreciate what we're doing. Because they've heard a lot of the guru stuff. They get that more than they do you guys. They really do. And that's why a lot of bankers are apprehensive to talk to you all. And that's why you're getting the whispers in the ear and the white glove treatment, or hey, let me take you back by the bathroom and I'm going to tell you something.
Right. Right. String Bean, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How does it feel now? How do you feel knowing that you have established the relationship with the bank that is going to not only exchange your currency, but also help you to grow your wealth? I'm going to repeat that question before you answer it, because I want everyone to hear it again. How does it feel now that you have established the relationship at the bank that is going to exchange your currency and help grow your wealth?
It feels awesome. It's like a weight off of my shoulder. I didn't even realize how much it was weighing on me with all of the other stuff. And to know that when this happens, that I have the confidence to go in there and do what needs to be done. And the fact that I have established that relationship, and also knowing how he answered the questions, put me at peace. That this is someone that is going to be able to help me, but also when it's time for a CPA and someone as far as the someone that does the taxes, any of those things, he has those contacts. He had sent me another email a couple of days after that, and just kind of touched base, and was glad to meet me and looking forward to hearing from me when I'm ready.
Awesome.
I love that you now have a plan, String Bean, and you're ready to enact it when this happens. You are ready to go 100 miles an hour from 0 to 100. You're set. You have a plan. You know what you need to do. I love that for you. I love it for everybody that's done this. Glass half full, Brunette Grand, PR, Harv, all of you. I love it. And those folks we haven't talked to that have gone and done this, kudos to you, because you are so far ahead, you don't even know it. And when you get to that next step and you start having the returns and you start making money, they're going to give you that CPA person or ask, hey, do you have a CPA guy I might talk to help me? I want to move to my next step. And that's some of the stuff that I've been giving you all. Save it. Go talk to these people about where you're trying to go, where you want to be. And they're going to help you structure this accordingly. Because if we structure it right the first time out, man, you're going to save yourself time, aggravation, money, and pain.
That's right.
You said it all right there. Is that taking that first step?
If I can, String Bean.
Taking that first step, what you just said.
Yeah. But if I can, what piece of advice would you give anybody listening to you tonight? What would you give them for somebody just starting out to go do this?
Get out of your own way. Take the advice that's been given, the list that you all have given, taking the time to listen to the other people who have already gone before us and have gone to the bank. Take the time to listen to those videos, the tapes there, and take notes. Because you still may be a little afraid to do it, but when you're armed with the right information, you can do it. And that's made all the difference for me. It was like, what am I waiting on? I've been given the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. I've been given the information that is going to make a difference. And I just, okay, you have to go to the bank anyway. You are going to go over there after you do your deposit, and you're going to ask to speak to a wealth manager.
Absolutely. See, look who already has her plan. She knows it forward and backwards.
Exactly.
Cole, talk to yourself, Wiley, that you taught us. We can talk to ourselves and say the right things.
That's right. Never talk negative to yourself, because if the mind believes, the body achieves.
That's right. That's right.
So thank
you.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what String Bean's saying there, remove the ego.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
If you would, String Bean, would you please share with Freedom privately in a DM who this guy is? I'd definitely like to have his name and whatnot.
Okay.
Just future reference for myself.
Okay. I will do that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
Right.
I love these calls, Freedom. I tell you what, these things amp me up, because I know what we're doing is helping. Some days I feel like, oh my God, I'm not going to post anything today because I pepper them with so much stuff. Their heads are going to explode. And they're probably like, what's he giving us today? So I do try to hold back. And then some days I just give you a whole data dump, because it all goes together.
Right. Yeah. And people are literally soaking it in. They may not say anything right away, but as you can tell, they're taking notes, soaking it in, and then boom, here you go. We get the results of people doing it. Yeah.
Well, it's going to help them formulate that plan, so when they do get past this first conversation, they're ready for conversation 7, 8, 9, 10 down the road.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You ready for some Q&A?
Yeah, let's go.
Right.
Let's see what we got. Hey, I'm willing to entertain anything I've put out as well, if they have a question on any of that, as well as the wealth management stuff we're talking about today.
Okay, let's rock and roll. I see Brunette Grand, you had your hand up. I'm going to go to you first. And folks, please raise your hand. We'll come right to you. Brunette Grand, you're first, young lady.
Sorry, I accidentally punched it. I was plugging in my phone to recharge it up, and I accidentally punched it. Sorry.
No worries. It's all good. No worries. You got any cheesecake over there?
He's asking for the church ladies.
I couldn't help it. All right. Sam. Okay, we got Sam, the one and only. Sam, you can unmute. Special guest. Unless that was an accident. Sam, you can unmute. There you go.
The hell I'm used to, unmuting and going on these calls. But I had a question for the ladies who have spoke today.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
The one thing I did not hear is, now I heard that they had made their appointments and they went in. But what I'd like to know is, when I walk through that bank door, where do I go? Now, for the last 20 years, I've been told that there's going to be a red carpet. It's going to lead right to my banker's office.
Oh.
Okay, I'll answer.
If that's not what's going to happen, I'd like to know what happened when these ladies went through the door.
When I walked through the door, I just went up to where the teller was because I was actually doing a transaction. So I went up to the actual teller, and then after I finished my transaction, then I asked if I could speak to a wealth manager. And that's when I was told that he was going to be in a meeting in maybe a couple of hours. And I asked for a card. And so they gave me his card with his information.
Well, it sounds easy enough. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And glass half full. You can unmute. I think you wanted to answer as well.
Well, I had a couple of different ones. I mean, when I went into one of the big banks and talked to a private banker, the wealth manager was an entirely different building, an unmarked building near the top of a high rise that you would not have known exactly where their office was. So, I mean, it just depends, I think, on which bank and whatever. But no red carpet.
And I need to bring my money in with a wheelbarrow and just hide it with a plastic cover and walk in there and just say, "Here I am."
I don't think so.
Sam, you can listen to that guru stuff.
Oh man.
sounds like Sam's gonna get a trip to the dumpster with Freedom Fighter.
Behind the Piggly Wiggly. Oh man.
You appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Who's next? You have a question, please feel free to raise your. Yeah, something you want to say, Wiley?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was turning my volume down. It was a little loud.
Oh, okay. All right. Who has a question? Raise your hand. And we are going to end the call promptly at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time. But if we don't have that many questions up until that time, we will end the call early. So, folks, you make sure you want to get your questions up. Go ahead and raise your hand.
We're that good, Freedom. We explain it all.
Man.
Our members explain it so well. I love that.
Yeah. Are you open to folks asking the members questions at all, Wiley? Or just you?
Okay. No. They can ask whatever they want.
Okay. All right. Folks,
this is their time. I'm just here to help out, and I know you're here to help facilitate. So we're here for them. If they got other questions for whoever, let's go for it.
All right, folks. This is a great opportunity as well. If you want to ask these members any specific questions about their experience, maybe that didn't come out on the call, you can ask them directly, and so everyone can learn. This makes it so much easier. No guru frou questions. Oh, there we go. Oh, well, we have a very special guest here that just raised their hand. Lady Unique. You speaking about red carpet? This young lady gets the white glove treatment at the bank. Lady Unique. You can unmute.
She got everything but escorted to her car.
Right, exactly. So, Lady Unique, I got to make the proper introduction for you, for, for the members on the call. I feel like saying, ladies and gentlemen, before us this evening, we have, for those of you who've heard the story about the young lady who established a relationship at the bank, and as she was walking out of the door, this is a big bank that completely shocked us that was even in the game for the RV. And as she was leaving the bank, the vice president walked up to her after she had her communication discussions about her business. And the vice president of the bank walked up to her, whispered in her ear that she is on their contact list for exchange, and he winked and asked her if she was single. And no, I'm just kidding. I added that. No, he didn't. Then he rolled out the red carpet. Then he took his wedding band off and threw it in the dumpster behind the bank. He said, I've been married for 30 years. I ain't want her anyway. He said, I'll be a rich woman. He said, I'm a rich woman named Lady Unique.
Okay, guys. Hi, everybody. Freedom Fighter out there. You got jokes. You got jokes. Okay. I just wanted to follow up, and I love my girls that string being in glass half full, and I shared earlier today with Freedom Fighter, and I also wanted to add this in, because those ladies is on it, and I know a few others are on it. I had an appointment also with my senior banker a couple weeks ago, and I just shared this. Was it today? Yeah. As of my situation, they already know that I'm a foreign currency holder. You've heard that from my prior calls, and my expectations and what I'm looking for as far as wealth management, advisory, investment assistance, and the plans that I have for my future, my family, and how to properly invest and make sure that it's managed properly, and the standards that I have set and the teams that I want, and what I'm looking to achieve. After we had that conversation, and also she happened, I took them with me, and I hadn't planned on it, but someone told me to take my currencies with me. And they did, validate that it was authentic of what I had. Now, after all that, my senior banker, was happy to have this conversation with me, and was doing some assurance of understanding what I needed to do and the type of team that I would need and who I will be meeting in the future. Fast forward, as I got this in the morning, I had never, ever, ever gotten anything like this. I got a email from my bank with a survey attached to it asking me about the meeting that I had with my senior banker, and highlighted several of the conversation points of was her performance well? Did she answer your question? Yeah, and what are you looking to do forward? And we'll have teams or whatever. So it was like a survey to find out, I guess to follow up with me behind her. When I shared that with Freedom Fighter, he confirmed and said to me that was the way the bank is. What were your exact words? Yeah, making sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the bank is making. Go ahead.
Yeah, making sure that they kept me, because I did mention while I was there, just to test the waters. If there is this facility, your bank is not going to be involved in this or whatever, I've been steered to other locations. When I said that during the meeting, just to get a response, my senior banker looked out real, I was like, and she said, of course that's your decision, but you're our client.
Right.
Listen, yeah, you are quiet. Yeah.
Yep. 'Cause I
Yeah.
I said to her, Wiley, I said, yeah, you got that email from them because they don't want you to go to any other banks because every other bank is competition. They want to keep you in house. And then she shared that email with me. She said, yeah, they're like,
if we can, one more time, just for clarity, this was a bank, validated your currency. We're talking the stuff everybody's invested in, and they're telling you the what's what. Am I correct, Lady Unique?
You are absolutely correct, Sir Wiley.
There it is, folks. Have we paid you to come on and say this stuff? Are you a paid advertiser? Are we giving you anything to come on and say this?
You weren't supposed to say that. No. No. I'm just sharing this because anybody else, just like Glass Half Full and my girl String Bean and whomever else is on here, and we say it in the room all the time. I can't thank them enough because I got guru foo-foo to death until I met these guys and they brought me back to life. Stuff that I had researched and done on my own. Once I was Goldilocks and Wiley's not sharing some stuff and little tidbit points of stuff that I wanted to do, they just clarified. I'm like, oh crap. They took me to another level to educate me on some things. I was in far left lane because I still had guru foo-foo. But with these guys,
we got you straight.
Yeah, they help extinguish that. So, guys, if you're still on the sidelines and just listening, and I was another one. I stayed in the background for a long time before I finally had enough confidence to say, okay, let me share with them what's going on.
You are the first person that I've heard that the bank has done what they've done for you.
Oh, Wiley, I got to share this with you as well. Let Lady Unique share it with me in private about when the bank, and folks, this is a big top 3 bank, validated her currency. Was this last week, Lady Unique?
The 21st.
22nd. 21st.
There you go. You know my dates better than I do.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday. I remember it was a Tuesday.
Right.
Now, Wiley, they validated her currency. There was one other particular. She's like, it was bond that they told her, oh, you can just put that to the side. You already know what it is.
Yeah, I do.
Am I right, Lady Unique?
Yeah, you're correct. They validated and I took out that one, and they authenticated it. However, she said, just put that to the side for right now. She just put that to the side.
So just imagine, folks, what she did, and this is, now, I don't want everyone running out to the banks to do this, so please follow me. Lady Unique already had an account at the bank with currencies deposited into the bank. Am I right or wrong, Lady Unique?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went back with more currency after she established the relationship, and now she's gotten further along in that relationship to where because the bank actually said to her several weeks ago, we know you have foreign currency accounts. Am I right or wrong, Lady Unique?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, because see, folks, she's been keeping me in the loop and keeping Wiley in the loop for a while, but she's been sharing a lot of details behind the scenes that she wasn't comfortable in sharing in the room because she doesn't want all her business out there too much. But she's at a point now where it's okay because she just came on the call and mentioned some stuff tonight. so
Lady Unique is unique because everything that we taught her to go do after she had the guru breath, like she saw, and she got straightened out. And she went and started the relationship. And in all of that relationship building, they got a comfort level with her professionalism and her knowledge. And asking the right things, they started telling her all this. It wasn't her asking, they're sharing. which led her to ask the next question and got more, to where now she's getting currency
authenticated,
validated.
Yep.
Yeah, and guys, also, this didn't just happen overnight. This was a process. It took me a while to get that, to be able to speak the language, because in the beginning the bank was like, we're doing. They did tell me initially they were there, but at the very first time I did it, the currency I had, they were not allowing accounts for. And as time went on, they allowed me to put a little in there. Just, I'm established. There's no value on it right now, but it's sitting there.
Oh, that reminds me.
We need a sound effect for Lady Unique, so after she's done talking, it just has a mic drop.
Right. Oh, Lady Unique. Remember this in your private discussions with me and Wiley and everyone listening to this. It just came to mind. I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget things. It just came to me. She said something that really triggered a reminder. There were currencies that the relationship manager shared with her that are showing pending. Am I right or wrong, Lady Unique?
Yes. They were showing pending.
Okay. And then there was another one that was showing, I forget, it was showing nothing. Like it was blank.
It was blank, yes.
Right. Okay. So this is how Lady Unique, yes, is unique, where she has gotten to the phase of in the relationship where the bank brought up the currency to her because they saw she had these accounts. It was a lady, I remember, a female that mentioned to you, oh, hey, we know you have currencies. And then she went back with those currencies. They end up authenticating them and showing her that there's certain currencies that are showing pending and certain currencies that are showing blank. And Lady Unique and I spoke about it, and it's because these currencies are showing pending and blank because just like Goldilocks has been sharing, the process is in development. We're not at the phase yet for these currencies to be international just yet and go and to revalue just yet. But they shared with Lady Unique which currencies are showing pending, which currencies are showing blank. But they obviously, and then also, of course, put that one to the side, that bond over there, put it to the side. But because they're very open with her because the relationship has been established, there's a comfort level there that they've established with her. And for those of you listening, this is Lady Unique, who they actually went up to the door. The vice president walked to the door. She was leaving. This is her. You've always heard her story. It's amazing. And I wish I could tell you the name of the bank, but I won't. It will blow your mind. The bank.
Lady Unique just became the most available bachelorette in Denarland.
Watch out now.
Some wedding wings are being tossed behind dumpsters right now.
Freedom fighter, boy.
I got it started.
Hey, Lady Unique, did they show you back screen for the contract rate?
Actually, no, but Wiley, but what they did show her, the banker, the lady actually showed her computer screen.
Exactly, and that's what they're right.
Yep.
Yeah, she was kind of hesitant. I had to be honest. She was kind of hesitant at first, and then she just kind of turned it around so I could see.
You just say, you better recognize I'm Lady Unique. Let's see that screen.
Yep. And that's what you saw pending. Certain currencies were pending, and certain currencies, plural, showed pending. One specific currency showed blank. If I'm wrong, correct me, Lady Unique.
No, you're correct. There was nothing there.
Okay. I'm going to predict this right now. The minute people hear this call, outside of those on this call tonight, that goes viral, I guarantee it, Lady Unique,
Wow.
your story will be everywhere.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing,
Mhm.
but it's fact, it's truthful, and it's honest.
Mhm. And it shows progression because this is not her first time at the bank with this. This is not her second. This is what? How many times did it take for you to get to this point, Lady Unique, where they validated your currency?
62.
Plus, yeah. And like I said, it's been over. I've been in this since 2013, guys.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna be honest, within the past 4 months, it's gotten a lot more like, oh wow, okay, all right, Karen, stay calm. All right, okay, you're carrying a little bit too much. Okay, just be calm, be calm. But yeah, it's been over a period of time because at one point I was ready to walk away.
Okay, let me be more specific with my question. From the time that you connected with us and you started to establish your relationship, how many times from then did it take for you to get to the point where they validated your currency?
3.
Okay, that's what I thought.
3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was it at the? Yeah, it was. Okay, so that would have been October the 22nd, last Tuesday, is when they did that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But remember what she said, Freedom. She had all that guru breath at first, was getting nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
She reapproached, she reassessed,
Mm-hmm.
she learned, she educated herself, and went back in armed with knowledge and real information and a language that they understood and she understood. And that made all the difference to get what she needed to get or to get the information she was looking for and to get where she is today. To be able to share this information with so many folks. This is the first time I've ever heard this. I mean, I've heard it, but I've not heard anybody else getting that treatment to that level at this stage of where we are.
And now, what's
this information that you are sharing with folks?
Yep.
It's showing folks that regardless what everybody said to you over all this time, you're crazy, you're nuts, it's never happening, it's a fool's game, it's a fool's errand. How do you feel now, Lady Unique, knowing what you know now and how you treated inside that bank?
I have a peace and I have a confidence that I wasn't sure of. I always felt like I can handle this. But however, now with you guys, that confidence that I have now, I'm more sure of myself and I'm more understanding, period, of what I'm looking to accomplish. It's not so much about, I'm going to be rich, it's things that I want to accomplish for the betterment of myself financially, my family, and being able to also help others who aren't a part of this blessing, but I can share the goodness that I've learned to help others.
If I can take something from String Bean, it's not how you started, Lady Unique. It's how you finished.
Yep.
True that.
Finishing strong right now. And I predict nothing but you finishing strong all the way through because you're armed with knowledge, you're armed with facts, you're armed with things that nobody else has at this time. And you're so ahead of this where so many aren't, that are still struggling to get out that gate and build a relationship.
Well, thanks to you guys, I am. I'm glad that the Lord guided me to you guys. Because of you guys, I am. I can only take 30% of the credit. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate you all. I really do.
We're just doing God's work, beloved.
We're happy that you found us and that we were able to share and impart some things on you that you were able to take that information and made it your own, and you took it and you did the work. The real work was done by you. We just gave you the information that's there.
That's right.
We just aggregated it for you so you had it.
Right.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Lady Unique, for refresh my memory, I forget, what state are you located in?
Chicago.
That's right. You're in Illinois. That's right. You're in Illinois. And string beans in Oklahoma, and glass half full was in Washington. So, folks, you have the West, the Midwest, and the South. With these three different experiences you heard tonight, all very similar. I mean, amazing, with the same, very similar results, but all as well walking out of their experiences with wealth managers having something they all said they have is peace. That peace.
Yes.
Lady Unique, thank you for coming on and sharing.
Thank
that.
you.
You didn't know.
Thank you for allowing me to.
Have to share it. We appreciate you that you did. We applaud you for how far you've made it, and since you found us and where you're at in this journey. And I wish nothing but the best for you moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Wiley, we got to have Lady Unique on Saturday's call to tell her story about the banks. Well, again, she was, of course, she told her bank story, but this is an update on the banks authenticating her currency. We got to have her on. Yeah.
And that every bank in Chicago is looking to get with her and date her now.
You done started some stuff. You done started some stuff. Okay.
I know, right? I'm sorry.
Lady Unique rolling in there with her roller travel bag on wheels and breaks open the currency. They're like, yeah, you just come back over here. You're not going anywhere. You're our client.
Exactly.
She's like, I got 2 more of those in the trunk of my car. Could you send somebody out those?
Right. Oh man.
Okay. Hey, let me ask you something real quick while we got this, and I know we're kind of running out of time, and I don't know if anybody has any questions or we got hands up. And you've been in the banking world for some period of time, my friend. So answer me this. In the history of currencies, have you ever seen a monetary note converted to a bond anywhere at any time in modern currency history or decades ago?
The straight answer is never. And also the second part of that answer is it's not possible to convert a note, one financial instrument like a note, into a bond of sort. This in the finance world that doesn't exist.
That's right. It doesn't jive, and it doesn't exist, and that's that's kind of where I wanted you to go tonight, because I know we were talking about this bond issue, and I know we harp on it, but I want to save people from some pain downstream.
Right, so they can diversify and adjust ahead of time.
Absolutely, it's all about diversification prior, after, and keep diversifying all the way through. You want to take that portfolio and grow it and diversify it. Listen to your team.
Exactly. We got about 3 more minutes. You want to take any questions if there are any?
Yeah, somebody want to throw something at us. I mean, how you gonna follow Lady Unique now?
Man, that's tough.
All right, let's get Zach on. He can follow that.
Oh, well, yeah. He's the only one, probably. He's the only one.
Let's get in.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.